Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to see about the for loop. So in previous video, we already have discussed about while loop and do while loop. So I guess so you guys will be having fair idea like how while and do while works. So in this today's video, we are going to get started with the for loop. Okay. So before getting started with the for loop like in the UiPath, before that, we are going to see how basic for loop works in other programming languages so that we will be getting some idea like how it is going to work in UiPath. Okay. So let me take you to one of the famous website we will be having, right? That is W3 schools. So in this, we are going to see how for loop is structured first. Okay. So here, so what is this for loop? So when we use this for loop, so that we need to understand first, and what is the syntax, like how it is going to work, that we are going to see. Okay. So when we use for loop is like whenever we know how many iterations it is going to run, right? So basically, if you know the number of iterations, then at the time you can go with for loop instead of while loop. Okay. So now we know like what is for loop, okay, and how it is structured. So this is the keyword for using for loop in C programming. So it differs from programming to programming language, okay. And here we have statement one, and you can see the definition here also, okay. Statement one, what it means, like it is before it will get executed before the execution of body, okay. That is like assigning things, like when we say assign, right? So in UiPath we know how to assign. Using assign activity we can assign a value to a variable, right? So it is similarly like that. Okay, that's what statement 1 represents. And what statement 2 represents? The statement 2 is nothing but like in the statement 2 only we are going to give the condition. So if we know the condition, then only if we know the number of iteration, then at that time only we are going to use for loop, right? So here we are going to give the condition. Okay. And the third one is statement 3. So after executing the body, after checking the condition, what needs to happen? That we will be having it in the statement 3. Basically in statement 3, like we will be having incrementing the counters and all. Okay. So those things we will be having in statement 3. So let me show you the code quickly. So here you can see int I, which is nothing but they are initializing the number. Okay. That is, they are initializing a variable that is called I, that is of type integer. Okay. And here what they are doing. So this we know, right? Already the syntax. So just now we have seen, right? So here I equals to 0, which is like here they just initialized the variable, and here they are assigning a value to this variable that is nothing but I equals to 0. Okay. And they are telling like I less than 5, which means like whenever your I is less than 5, right, then only your body should get executed. Okay. And then this I plus plus indicates that is I equal to I plus 1. Basically we are going to increment it by 1. Okay. So whenever like for the first iteration I will be equal to 0, right? So here it will be checking 0 less than 5. So the condition is true. So it will come over here. And this printf is nothing but message box. That is in UiPath we will be having message box, right? That is similar to that. Okay. And if it is less than 5, 0 is less than 5, so it will come inside the body. So why I'm saying it is a body? So whenever you have flavor, open parenthesis, and whatever you have inside this, right? So that is called as body. Okay. So here the condition satisfied. So it will come over here, and we are just printing the value of I. So in the initial iteration, the I value will be 0. So it will print the value as 0 first. Okay. And in the next iteration, the I value become as 1. How it will become as 1? Using this particular statement I plus plus. That is nothing but I equals to I plus 1. So initially I value will be 0. Now it will become as 1. So now again it will start checking the condition 1 less than 5 or not. So again the condition is true. Again it will come to the body. Like this, it will get executed till the number is 5, because 5, when it becomes 5, so the it will again come over here and it will check the condition 5 less than 5 or not. So here 5 is not less than 5, right? It is equal to 5, correct? So here the condition is not getting satisfied So the for loop will break. Okay. So this is how the for loop will work in other programming language. Okay. So now we are going to demonstrate the same thing in UiPath. Okay. So let me take you guys to the UiPath, and here we have an activity that is repeat number of times. Okay. So this repeat number of times activity will work exactly similar to for loop. Okay. We have many for loop conditions, like for the very first thing, like we are going to see repeat number of times in the next sessions, and all we will see like how we can iterate the data table, how we can iterate the Excel. Okay, so those things and all we will see in the upcoming sessions. Okay, so for today's session we are going to see about this repeat number of times activity, which is going to work exactly in the same way of for loop. Okay, here, so when I drag this activity in the design panel, so you can see for each current item. Okay, and as you can see in the input, that is in the properties panel, in input what we have only one item, that is number of times. So it is asking, UiPath is asking us like how many times you want me to repeat. So here you have to give the end condition, like how many times you want to iterate. So if we give 4 times, then it will start with first iteration and it will run till the number reaches 4. Okay, so basically it is going to iterate 4 times. Okay, and you can see options started, like it is here mentioned as 1, which means it is nothing but it is similar to this I equals to 0. Okay, so basically it is going to start with 0, but here it is going to start with 1. And here this, if you maybe you will be getting a question, what is this current item? Then this current item is nothing but it is a temporary variable. Okay, so this temporary variable is going to store these numbers and all. So for the first time the current item will be 1, and in the next iteration the current item will be incremented in the background and the current item value will become as 2, and at the third iteration the current item will become as 3, and in the fourth time it will become as 4. So these things and all will be happening in the back end. That is the incremental thing and all will be happen in the back end. Okay, so we will be not able to see, but for now you just understand this current item is nothing but a temporary variable, and if you wish to change this name, right, you can change. Okay, so for now it is current item, right? If you wish to change to something like I, you can do that. So okay, so now this part is also done. And what we had in the body, so here we have this, right, this do block. This do block is nothing but the body. Okay, if the condition satisfies, it will come inside the body and it will execute whatever we are going to mention. In C programming we have seen printf function, right? So the at the time itself I have mentioned printf is nothing but it is similar to message box, correct? So I'm using message box just to show the results what we are going to have it here. Okay, so I'm going to mention as I. As soon as I mention I, let me run it in debug mode so that you will be getting a clear picture of it. Okay. So now it is getting start. It is going to run. So now I'm going to do step into. What the step into do? It is going to run these activities in stepwise manner, right? So first it will come over here and then it will go into the do block. So that's the purpose of step into activity, and it will be mostly useful like when you are debugging a big process. Okay, so now I'm doing step into, and again if I do step into, as you can see over here, the I value, that is, this is the temporary variable. Okay, so this temporary variable value is coming as 1. So then what we are doing here, we are printing the value I, right? So in I, what we have the value 1. So now if we execute it, like we will get the value as 1 in the message box, and in the next iteration, like basically we have asked UiPath to repeat 4 times, right? So now the value 1 will become as 2 in the back end. Once we do step into, now you will be able to see the temporary variable I has the value 2. Okay, and if we do step into this time, we will be getting us 2, and it will go on like till 4 times. So this is the third iteration which we are running, and we are getting the value as 3. Okay, and this is the last iteration because we have asked UiPath to repeat only 4 times, right? So this will be the fourth time. So when we do step into, here we will be getting the value as 4. Okay, so basically this I value is getting incremented from 1 to 4. Correct. So here we have asked, right, like we have mentioned the value as 4, so it will basically repeat 4 times. So now when we do step into, it will come out of the do activity and it will again jump back to the main thing. Okay, and if we do one more time step into main sequence, now our execution will get stopped. Okay, so this is how this repeat number of times activity will work. So now I hope like this is exactly replica of for loop, right, in other programming language. So here we have mentioned a start at 1. If you want to mention as 0, then you can do that as well. Okay, because like in this program, they have initialized the I value to 0, right? So it ran till 5. And when the value was 4, it will run. And when the value becomes 5, the body will not get executed, correct? So similarly here also it will work in the very same way. So now if we mention the value as 0, it will run only like 4 times, but for the fourth iteration, like for the fifth iteration, it will not, because we have mentioned the value started as 0. So it will start with the value 0, 1, 2 and 3. So basically it is going to run 3 times. So when we now I'm debugging the file entirely. So let's say like what we are going to get for each iteration. So we are getting the value starting with 0. So now it will become as 1 and it will become as 2. Next iteration 3, and for the final iteration it will not. Correct. So this is what we have seen right in the for loop. So it is exactly running in the same way over here also. This is how the repeat number of times activity will work. Okay, and in our upcoming sessions we will see like how we can iterate the data table, and how we can iterate the list, how we can iterate the arrays and all. Okay, as we discussed earlier. Okay guys, thank you.